You are watching
What are your guys' thoughts on anonymity and Jordan Peterson and all that? I know a lot of people have mixed feelings on him, but what do you guys think about the whole anonymity thing?
Clean your room, bucko.
Well, I mean, that's a very
Clean your
specific
Christmas tree,
of all my problems in the world with anybody. You know what I mean? And Jordan Peterson, like, he's done enough that I try to like let him slide when he's like, because he's an old man from Canada who's a community college professor, and we give him a lot of. Well, you know, I mean, we're all getting old, but I just mean to say, like, he's a dad and he's been through a lot and he's tired and he's a community college professor from Canada, you know, and like as a Californian who knew a lot of sociologist professors, we got to calm down. You know what I mean? Like.
Remember when Michael Landon always had a TV show on a major network? Michael Landon, he was on TV for like what?
There's a whole religion
years?
around the teachings of Michael Landon.
So anyway, I just think that Jordan Peterson is our Michael Landon, right?
In a weird way, maybe.
I kind of get
a
that.
father figure who's sort of, instead of being on TV, he's an internet Michael Landon. And
See,
that
but
being said, I know he has that image, but did you see Jordan Peterson on Kill Tony? Whew. He crushed, dude. He crushed.
Really? I want to talk about his whole Twitter, you know, and what's going on. With that. I mean,
He's got to just stay off Twitter because he's very like fragile and sensitive, and like, you know, someone called him Juden Peterstein or something, and like he like freaked out. And he's like, "You're a demon. You're a troll demon," and it's like, bro, you got to not respond to that because it made it funny that he
had a very terrible. He had a pathologically possessed nickname. You know, like his nickname was like Demon Spawn 69. You know,
and then he said that someone who says LOL is like narcissistic, and it's like, bro, like. Just like someone take his Twitter account away.
Yeah,
it's like,
I like LOL because LOL is basically LOL is 101, right? It's basically binary code 101. You're like on, off, on. You know, again, it's basically this. We're constantly LOLing.
I don't get his beauty thing, like where he's like, "That's
Fat
not
chicks.
beautiful" or whatever.
These hoes ain't loyal.
To each their own,
like
man.
a nice
I mean, he
booty
says it so authoritatively, and it's only in the context of everything else that he says, and then like, oh, so I don't know, like self-acceptance, man. I think we need to apply it to more areas than just like obesity or whatever. I think we need to apply it to maybe your sex and.
Well, Lizzo is disgusting. I mean, there's limits to everything.
I mean, well, you know, the way she played that flute, though. I mean, like you got to get back with the Mozart magic. But okay. I wish I had my APM meme, like advanced philosophy meme right now, which is basically just the statue of Willendorf with Jordan Peterson staring at it. And I think it's important because we kind of forget this idea that like transsexual masculine characters of modeling that we've been taught to feminize are not the feminine archetype, and that this idea of femininity actually has a lot to do with curves, and the representation of curves has to do with the ability to have hip
but
bearing.
Not folds. You don't need folds.
Dude,
Okay.
if you go
This
into
is a
an
goddess.
class, what do you want to draw? Do you want to draw some skeletal structure, or do you want to draw something that's like, you know, fluid or whatever?
Yeah, I don't know. I think she looks good. I like
I think
Willendorf.
that Ryan, like, I didn't see just off the title. I think he nailed it. Where, you know, Andrew Tate is like a professional kickboxer in great shape, and like Jordan Peterson like doesn't look like he takes that great care of himself. So
Dude,
I think like,
where's Ryan Long?
It doesn't come off the same when you're like, oh, you know, this is what a woman is to be beautiful, and it's like, you know, I don't know. I don't think Peterson's in like top tip shape to be saying that to women. It comes off better when Tate says it because like,
He's like the skinniest guy that eats only steak.
I keep pulling up pictures of Slavoj Zizek because Slavoj Zizek, it's funny, like he's telling them to clean his room. Have you ever seen a cleaner room than Slavoj Zizek's room?
Oh, yeah.
Spotless, communist with clean rooms. And so it's funny because we were told, oh, you know, wash your penis. And I think this is a big problem with Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson's amazing. Don't get me wrong. And I love his daughter and I love everything he's doing. But, you know, he's getting...
news. You're supposed to just let it rot. Or...
That's what it feels like. He's basically saying wash your penis to a generation who never heard it before, and they're amazed. They're like, "Whoa, clean your room, like your room, clean it," and that's great, you know. But it also it's just as amazing for him because he clearly had a dirty room as well. And you can look at Jordan Peterson's past, and I'm not trying to like dig up any dirt. I love the guy, and I know he's been through a lot of things, but you know, you look into Jordan Peterson's Social Democratic Party of Canada and the what's it called, the Codex Alimentarius, was that the one he worked on, or the Agenda 21? Agenda 21, he helped.
Yeah, he did work on Agenda 21. He seems like an agent. I mean, he could definitely be an agent.
Wasn't Jordan Peterson a breadwinner for a family of like 5 for like 15 years before he got famous?
Yeah. He was a professor. He did what he had to do.
Does he have 5 kids?
I don't know if he has 5 kids. I know he has 2 at least. I'm not sure if
I got 5 kids.
Well, I'm just saying he was a college professor. He was a father. I think he was, paying bills on a house and shit. I don't think he was loaded as a college professor, was he?
I mean,
So
you know,
he kind of had that sort of frumpy, I work 50 to 60 to 80 hours a week, kind of just, let me sneak in a beer here or there kind of body. And then all of a sudden he blew up, right? And he started taking those benzos.
I only eat meat and benzos, right?
Right. Wasn't he in a Russian rehab for like 2 years or something?
Right.
Now he's eating meat and he's looking good. But I'm just saying that guy was living like a pretty like full and grinder kind of lifestyle, I think, for a while.
Well, he tried to sign with CAA and get a daytime TV show. He was like appearing with a Dr. Oz for a while, and then he was going to have his own spin-off daytime show, and that's when he had his burnout and went to.
Did he really? Right before he got the show?
Yeah.
Yeah. He signed with CAA, so it's like pretty. It's pretty sketchy because his big push that he came out with was against the basically the trans movement with the compelled pronouns, and then to sign with CAA, who are like the ones who are firing Owen Benjamin and stuff because they're against the trans thing. So it's just kind of like, why would you come out on this crusade and then basically try to sign with the enemy just to get this $1 million deal?
Right.
He also, I don't know if he moved to America, but I know like as soon as he got here and started working with Daily Wire, he like fell for Matthew McConaughey like gun control propaganda, and it's like he's really good, like you said, at like gender stuff and cleaning your room and like the opportunity outcome like equality. All that stuff he's good on, but it's like his politics kind of suck. And, he seems like a walking contradiction all the time, where even on Twitter, he, if he was just doing his thing and recovering, I'd be like, yo, leave the guy alone. But he's kind of like priming himself as someone who I don't think is religious at all. He does a message to the Muslims, a message to the Christians, like, oh, the two entire religions bow down to Jordan Peterson. And then someone calls him a name and he cries on Twitter. And it's like, bro, you're like lobbying yourself to be like a prophet of like the Abrahamic faiths, and you can't even take like a joke.
But you know what? The crying thing, though, it's like people always say they're like, men need to show more emotion and be more sensitive. Like one guy does it, and it's like, fuck you. Why? I don't know, man. It's like I think he's sincere. He can fucking cry.
See, I feel like he just seems like he's miserable on Twitter, where I want someone in his camp to tell him like, dude, you don't have to respond to everybody. And like, everyone's not always going to agree with you, but you certainly don't want to pick like the funniest comments and get mad at them. Like, dude,
Andreas called it, dude. It's technology with an old person, dude. Can you imagine if Biden actually wrote his fucking Twitter?
Right.
Like if he actually himself like wrote it, dude, you get more than kafif, dude. You'd get some shit.
That's true.
I mean, and here's the thing, like, so, and I don't, again, like, I gotta love everybody these days because I'm close to them all, but like Ben Shapiro and Jordan Peterson, what do you guys think about this, right? Because it's, when your kids start hanging out with that one guy is the bad crap, you're worried about him, and it's not. I love them all. I love.
How tall is Jordan Peterson, by the way?
Yeah, it's like that rich dad, poor dad, but it's tall dad, small dad.
He's 8 feet tall.
Oh, yeah, because Tim Pool said that Ben Shapiro is taller than him. So I was like, is Tim Pool like just like crazy shorter? I need to see all the famous people lined up with Owen Benjamin at one end and Tim Pool at the other end.
I'll tell you what, it is nice to feel like a giant. It is nice to feel like a giant amongst men. I'll tell you.
Yeah. I was surprised to see Giant's height, by the way. I thought he was going to be taller. But
right?
You're 6 foot. You're 6 foot, man.
I think that since he's been at Daily Wire, I feel like he's kind of just like molding into Ben Shapiro, where it's like he's hanging out with Netanyahu, giving softball interviews, crying, people don't like it, getting ratioed, crying about the ratio. So it's like I don't know what Ben did to him. Maybe he like, He's not educated on Orthodox Judaism in like in a serious way. And so he's kind of fronting there, and then he's got the Zionism thing. I'm always quick to distinguish, Judaism from Zionism. And, not everybody ascribes to the same political ideology that Zionism entails. And so, it has nothing to do with the Hebrew religion. So right, but I don't know. What I'm saying with him, like, I don't hate him for it, but like, say he doesn't give that great of an interview, or he doesn't push back that much because he doesn't know that much, right? And then people ratio him in the comment sections and let him know that. Like, sure. Joe Rogan used to be like humble when he'd get ratio to be like, oh, I got to redo that. But now it seems like Peterson's fighting the ratio. We're like, oh, you're demons. And it's like, bro, you're not a bad person for not knowing that much or giving a softball interview. But,
right.
When there's honest, accurate criticism of where you kind of lack, he's like freaking out at it and kind of like lashing back where, I get it. Maybe he's like, set in his ways, but
dude,
That's the thing. When you're set in your
fucking-
ways and you're naive, it's a dangerous combination.
Have you seen the Russell Brand interview with him? That is so fucking good because it's like the way he went about that, because he just gets him to go into his religious beliefs, like where he stands on all those things, and then he like goes, okay, what are your views on capitalism, like specifically, like, and then he kind of like lets the two meet, and it's like, and it just kind of speaks for itself. So he doesn't ever really like attack him in any way. He just lets him kind of lay out where we might find contradiction. And
what religion does he say he is, Peterson?
Peterson.
He does like whole lectures
Catholic?
on Christianity stuff, but when he's asked directly if he believes in God, he waffles on the question and won't answer it. And he's always being so careful. He's like, I want to be really careful. I mean, like, when you're so careful, you can't even say if you believe in God or not. Like, I get what he's doing, but then it's like you're not a leader. You're like an advisor, so he shouldn't be in a leadership role. He's like, I've got a lot of ideas, but don't ask me what to do because I don't even know if I believe I exist or I woke up this morning or anything.
Well, so like this is the thing that always bugged me. So I remember like what was it? I forget how many. It was like a long time ago, right? A couple years before 12 Rules for Life came out. What was this? One of the earlier Maps of Meaning YouTube like courses, like the first or second one he put up, and I was watching it, and I was raised Catholic, so for me, I was like, this is the gnarliest and most and at the time I wasn't impressed. This is the shallowest rebranding of Ignatian method that I've ever seen, and I've seen a few, like quadrinity processes and things like that. And the fact that he never talks about Ignatius or the Jesuits or Teilhard Chardin, and that he's using them to teach other people in a Canadian secular college class the literal spiritual exercises of Ignatius Loyola. It's a lot. It's a lot to watch a guy do this while you know what he's doing and him never bring up the names of or cite the sources. That's not what a student does, let alone a professor. And so, yeah, it makes a lot more sense to become a media person. That's what media persons do. They take credit for things, but it's just that scares me.
Isn't it
Is the
common
making
enough,
the bed? Is the making the bed thing a Saint Ignatius exercise then?
That's more Kantian.
Isn't that directly from the Bible? Get the rod out of your own eye before you criticize the rod and the speck in your neighbors or whatever.
Good call, Seth. Good call.